Hi, welcome to the video tutorial Spring Boot form handling with Spring Form tags and JSP. With me, Nam Having from codejava.net. Throughout this video tutorial, you will learn how to develop a Spring Boot application that presents a web form to the users. The form looks like this. You see user registration with different kinds of input fields, text box, password field, select box or drop down list, uh, checkbox, radio buttons, and a text area. And after the user enters the information on the form and click submit button, register here. Our Spring Boot application, we read information in the form and display the details of the user back to the user. That looks like this. You see, registration is succeeded. Make sure that you have the following software programs installed on your computer: Java Development Kit (JDK) and Spring Tool Suite IDE. I recommend you to use the latest versions of JDK and SDS. And here are the technologies used to develop our Spring Boot project. Maven Build, Spring Boot with Spring MVC to create a Java web application based on Spring framework, and to display the web form we use Spring Form tags with JSP mixed with HTML code, and we use Spring Developer tools for automatic restart of the application, so we don't have to manually restart our Spring Boot application during development time. And here are the steps which we will follow. First, we will create a Spring Starter project in Spring Tool Suite IDE, and note that the packaging type of the project must be Word, because we use JSP with Spring Boot, and then we enable JSP with Spring Boot, and we create a model class to represent the information of the user in the web form, and then we call the Spring MVC Controller class to handle requests to display the form and submit the form. And we code the home page, and then we code the registration form using Spring Form tags, and finally we code the result or JSP page that displays in the user's details. Now let's create a Spring Boot project using Spring Tool Suite IDE. As you can see, I'm using Spring Tool Suite version 4.5.1 here. Now create a new Spring Starter project. Find new Spring Starter project. Here you see the project type is Maven Java version 8. Packaging, we choose the packaging type is Word, because we will use the JSP with Spring Boot, and enter the project name is Spring Boot form. Example, the group ID is net.codejava version 1.0, and description: demo for Spring Boot form handling. The package, Java package for the generated code is net.codejava. Okay, and click next, and here we choose dependencies for Spring Boot application that handles form. We just use the Spring Web here, Spring Web dependencies. Okay, and click next and finish, and we have the project Spring Boot form example created here. Wait for a moment. Okay, here we go. Our Spring Boot project in Spring Tool Suite IDE. And this is a Maven's build file, as you can see here. The version of Spring Boot is 2.2.4 here, and the packaging type, as you can see here, is over here. Packaging type is over here. Java version 1.8, and you can see we don't use any test, so delete the dependency Spring Boot starter test here. We keep only Spring Boot starter web and Spring Boot starter Tomcat. Okay, save the file, and you can see under the libraries section here there are many jar files which are automatically downloaded by Maven. We got error in the test folder here because we remove the test dependency, so delete this package. Delete. Okay, and you can see Spring Tool Suite IDE generate some code, some classes for our Spring Boot application here. This is a main class for our Spring Boot application, as you can see with the Spring Boot annotation here. And this is a service initializer. We have this generated class service initializer because we have specified the packaging type of our Spring Boot application is war. So this class is for initialize Spring Boot for solid environment running in an external server like Apache Tomcat. And now let's enable JSP support for our Spring Boot project. We need to specify an additional dependency here. Dependencies. Group ID is org.apache.tomcat.embed, and artifact ID is Tomcat embed Jasper, and scope is provided. Okay. And you can see some jar files for Tomcat, a jar file for Tomcat embed Jasper here. and then we need to update the application properties file to configure a Spring MVC resolver, view resolver. So open this file, and here we specify two properties for the Spring MVC view resolver. First is Spring MVC Spring.mvc.view prefix. As you can see, using Spring Tool Suite IDE, it automatically suggests code completion for Spring Boot properties here. View dot prefix equal. We put our JSP files under the web inf / views directory, and the second property is spring.mvc.view suffix. Here is a suffix for the view, which is .jsp. That's it. And then we need to create that directory views in our source folder here under main web app here, and create a new folder. Folder name is web-inf and /views. Finish. And here we go. The directory views under web-inf directory to put the SP files. So far we have done created the Spring Boot project and enable the SP. And now let's create the module class to represent the information in the user registration form. That looks like this. You see, with the fields full name, email, password, birthday, profession, married, gender, and note. So in our project, create a new Java class here. Class. The name of the class is user. Finish. And this class contains the following fields: private name, copy and paste name, and email, and password. Profession, note, gender, and birthday is of type java.sql date, birthday, and marriage status, married, as type boolean. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fields in the user class that represent information in the form, and we generate getter and setter methods for this module class. So generate getter and setters here, and we select all fields and generate. Here we go. Reformat the code. Source format. Okay, it looks nice now. So this is done, and let's code Spring MVC Controller class to handle requests, and then code the home page of the application. Yeah, we create a new Java class here, new class, and enter the name is MVC Controller. Finish. This here Spring MVC Controller, so we use annotation controller, and we code the first handler method to display the home page, to handle request to the home page to the context root of the application. So we use a request mapping annotation with mapping URL is / here to map with the application's context part of the home page, and this method is home, and simply return the view name of the home page is index. We print a message here going home. Okay, save the file, and then we create a JSP page for this view index under this views directory here. Right click, new JSP file, and enter the JSP file name is index.jsp. Next, use HTML5. Finish. Okay, here we go. And update the title of the page is Spring Boot Form Handling Example. And on this page, we have the heading Spring Boot Form Handling Example. Okay. And now we can start our Spring Boot application to test the home page. As you can see, as the Spring Tool Suite IDE comes with the boot dashboard here that allows us to manage running Spring Boot application. And right click, start. And you can see our Spring Boot application is up and running, started. As you can see in the console view here, Tomcat started on port 8080, and with context path is empty. Now we can use web browser like Chrome to access our Spring Boot application's homepage. So I open Chrome in my computer here and enter the URL is http localhost and port number 8080. We got an error here, as you can see. There was unexpected error. I think we have something wrong with the Spring MVC view resolver. Go back to the project, and this is sorry, we must have the / here for the prefix of the view. Save. And you see in the console it prints going home. That means our handler method to the home page is actually invoked, as you can see here, going home. You see I have updated the application properties file, and now I have to restart the server to make the changes take effect, which is time consuming task. I have to restart for every changes I made. Okay, let's refresh Chrome, and you can see now the home page appears with the heading Spring Boot Form Handling Example. So far so good, right? And let's update the home page to display the heading 2. Spring Form Tags with JSP. Save and refresh the browser, and you see the change I have made doesn't reflect, doesn't take effect. So let me show you how to use the Spring Developer Tools, Spring Dev Tools for automatic restart of the application whenever we make changes to the project. So to use Spring Developer Tools in a project, just right click on the project and you can see the context menu Spring here, and click Add Dev Tools. That's it, very simple. And the IDE will automatically add additional dependency in the maven pom.xml file, as you can see here. Spring Boot Dev Tools dependency here. And now we need let's try to make change to the home page again. Now we specify a code for the hyperlink here. Use the A tab. Click here to register. URL is /register. Okay, let's save the file. We need to restart our Spring Boot application. So now you can see in the console view here, the thread name is now restarted main, as you can see here, instead of the main thread. Now let's refresh our browser, and you can see the hyperlink click here to register appear here. And now let's delete this, save. And refresh, and you see it is automatically update the change, so we don't have to manually restart the server, just restart the application. Let's try again. Click here to register, save, and now we can refresh the home page. As you can see, click here to register, and we got the white label error page because we haven't created any handler method for this URL forward slash raster. And now let's create that handler method in the Spring MVC Controller class here. We can use a red mapping annotation that specifies that this handler method we handle HTTP GET request public string so form, and in this form we have a reference to the model here, and we return the name of the view that displays the registration form, register underscore form. And in this handler method we create a new model object user equal new user and add this object to the model and attribute. Name is user and value is the object user here. And you can see Spring Boot adapt to automatically restart when I make changes to Java code here. As you can see, it is a restart but very quick. And with this view, we need to create a JSP paste raster underscore form not JSP in the views directory here, web app views here. We can copy and paste the index.jsp here, copy, paste, and enter the name is register underscore form not JSP. Okay, and here we go. And here we change the title of the page to user registration form, and in the body of the page we use a div section like center, and we have the heading 2 here, user registration. Okay, save, and let's click here to register, and you can see the user registration heading appears in the form page here. And now let's understand how to handle form with Spring Boot. As you can see in the model layer, we have the model class user here that represents the information in the form, and in the view, the JSP page, we use Spring Form tags here. You can see, and in the controller layer, we have the handler method here. You see in the controller layer, and this handler method must handle the HTTP post request, and the action of the form register must match the URL mapping of the handler method here. And in the form we use several Spring Form tags: form input, form password, form select, form checkbox, form radio button, and so on, to render HTML input fields And as you can see, the path attribute of a form tag must match the name of a field in the model class. Here you can see name, email, and password. And note that in the form tag we must use a model attribute specify the name of an attribute in the model, and this name must match the name in the handler method parameter. Here we use a model attribute annotation and the name user here, and this is the type and variable name of the model class user. Okay, so that's pretty simple to handle form submission, handle form in Spring MVC using Spring Form tags in JSP. Go back to our IDE Spring Tool Suite, and let's update the user registration form. To use a Spring Form tags, we need to declare a directive here at the head of the page. Tag lib with a prefix is a form, and URI is http spring framework .org /tags /form. And here in the body of the page we now write code to show the form that looks like this, with the fields full name, email, and password, birthday, profession, married, gender, and note, using Spring Form tags. First, the form tag form. You can see the IDE suggests auto completion for form tags. First is a form, and action is raster, and method is http post, and yeah, we need to specify the model attribute user. As you can see, this view gets display from the handler method. So from here, and in this method, we add a user object to the model here, username user. So in the form, we can use few names or attributes of the user object here. And now we create the first field. We use a label, form label, to render HTML label element path point to a property of the model object. And the first property is name, full name, and then we use a form input tag to render HTML input text path name. Okay, let's refresh our browser, and you see we have a label full name and a text field. And then submit button. We use a tag form button. The caption of the button is raster, and we have a break line after the text field here. Refresh, and we see we have the raster button here. click, and we submit the form via HTTP post method in the same URL. And we got an error because we haven't created any handler method for HTTP post. So now in the controller class, we create a struct handler method here. Use a post mapping annotation to handle HTTP post request, and using the same URL rest /rest. And the method is publishing submit form, and this handler method returns view name register underscore success. And to capture the values of the fields on the form, we use the model attribute annotation here and specify the name, which is user, type of the object user, and variable name is user. And then Spring Boot, we automatically read the values of the fields in the form and create a model object user and set values for the fields of this model object, so we don't have to write code to read values of the form. So in this handler method, just print out the user object, and in the user we need to override the toString method here. Source generate toString, and we choose all fields to be displayed to be used in the toString method, as you can see here. Okay, save. And you see in the console you see Spring Boot automatically restarts the application. And now let's test the form. The simplest form. My main is a full name and register. And we got error because we haven't created this view page register underscore success.jsp. But in the console view, you can see it prints the details of the user object here. Name Namamin here. Email, password, no, because they haven't been set. Okay, so far so good. And now let's go to the JSP page that displays the user detail. After the user submits the form, then we can copy this file, copy, paste, and change the name to register underscore success. Open it, and in this JSP file we don't have to use Spring form tag anymore, so delete this line, delete the form, change the title to registration success. Registration success. The heading 2 is registration succeeded, and we show the details of the user via span element, full name, span. Here we use JSP expression language or EL to display the value of the variable name on the on object name user. Okay, save, and we can test here. Click register. And you see registration succeeded in full name Nam Hà Minh. Now let's write code to complete the form as per the user interface design here. Email, password, birthday, from here. Okay, the next field is email, so we can copy and paste similar code, change the path to email, email, text, and also in the result page we show the email of the user, email user.email. And now let's test. Back, and you can see the form now has two fields, full name and email. Nam Hà Minh, and email is nam@codejava.net. Click register. You see it now prints full name and email. So we need to have a break line here, and test, continue, and you see, and go back to the form, back to the home page. I click here to register, and you see the form here. Now let's use CSS style sheet to format the form so it will look nicer. So here in the form we specify style sheet section here, style text CSS, and for the input or label elements, for the label element we specify the property display inline block. Width is about 200 pixels, margin is about 5 pixels, and text alignment is on the left. Okay, let's refresh the form, and you will see it looks better, right? And format the button, so we use a style sheet for the button. We specify padding 10 pixels and margin 10 pixels. Okay, and now refresh, and you see it looks a little bit better, right? And now I mean codejava.net, and let's format this result page. Similarly, rest the success here. Add a style sheet section into the head for the span element. That's why I use the HTML span element, so we can easily use CSS to format. display inline block width about 200 pixel. Text alignment is on the left. Okay, let's refresh, and you will see it looks better, right? So you can see with Spring Boot, form handling is very easy in the controller layer. Just use a model attribute annotation and specify the name of the attribute on the form. Now let's complete the form to display the password and birthday. So we use the same code because the password for password we use a form password tag. Password tag path is password, email now is changed to password, password, and for birthday is a text field, birthday. By default the date format is birthday, for number of year hyphen 2 number of month hyphen and 2 number of day. Okay, and also update the result page here to show the password and birthday. Password user.password and birthday. Okay, let's test. Go to the raster form, and now we enter name Kumar, Ravi Kumar, password 12345 birthday 1980, January the 1st. Click register, and you see it displays the details of user in the result page. And now let's implement code for the drop-down list profession here with values sent from the controller class. So in the model, in the controller class, in the showForm method here that displays the form, we create a new list. Sorry, it should be list from the java.ut package. List change profession list equal erase as list developer and tester, and add this list to the model. Add attribute profession list is a name and variable. Okay, and now in the form we use the Spring select from tag, copy, paste. Label is for the field profession, and here we use a form. Select tag here, path profession, and to display the options from a list of values sent from the server, we specify the attributes items here and point to the name of the attribute in the model. Profession list, profession list, as you can see here. And in the result page, we display the value for profession user dot profession. Now let's test. Refresh the format. You can see the profession drop-down list select box appears here with two options: developer, tester. We need to have a break line here. And update the control class to have more options: tester, architect, manager. Okay, and refresh, and you see profession. And now we have four options: developer, tester, architect, and manager. And let's enter some information: Kumar, password, birth date, profession, architect. As you can see, profession architect, very good, right? And now let's write code to display the last three fields: married, which is checkbox, gender, which is radio button, and note, which is text area. So here we use form label for gender, and with to render HTML radio input. And we use Spring form tag form radio button here, path gender, and value. The value for this option is male, text is male, and the second option is for female, and in the result page display value of the gender, user dot gender. Okay, test. We have the radio button for gender, male or female here. We need to have break line. Okay, let's test. Navikuma 1, 2, 3, 4 basic birthday profession developer gender is male raster, and you can see gender is male. Very good, right? And now we record to display checkbox Maria's status. Yeah. From label at married or not. We use a Spring form tag form checkbox, but point to the field of the object married, and in the result paste here married or not, user not married. Okay, and test. Here you see we have the text box here. Now let's test Kuma 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 birthday manager female raster, and you can see profession manager gender female married true. Okay, so far so good. We need to update the CSS style to make the form looks better for the drop-down list, radio buttons, and checkbox. Here, we specify that CSS style for input type equal text and input type equal password, and select width is 200 pixels, and input type equal radio. Display inline block, and margin left is about 45 pixels, and input type equal checkbox. Display inline block, and margin right is about 190 pixels. Okay, save and refresh the form. And you see it looks better, right? And now let's write code to implement the last form field, which is text area for HR node here. So we use form label but not, and we use a Spring tag from text area but not, and specify the number of rows is about 5, and number of column is about 25. That's it. And in the result paste we display the value of the node user.node. Okay, let's test again. Refresh the form, and we have the text area here. You see, we need to have a break line before the button. Refresh, and you see it looks better, right? Now enter name, is full name, email, password 123456789, birthday, profession, tester, gender male. I am married and I love Java programming. Okay, click register. You see, it prints all the details of the user. Note I love Java programming. And in the console view, you also see it prints the details of the user here. Username, email, password, profession, note, gender. Very good, right? So that you have learned how to develop a Spring Boot application that handles form with Spring Form tags and JSP, and you have learned to create a web form that looks like this. And you see, handling a form in Spring Boot is quite easy in a model. We have a model class, and in the view we use Spring Form tags, and in the controller we use a model attribute annotation. In the form we use a model attribute. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my Java programming channel to get latest update.